Hi everyone and welcome to L Tutorials again. So we have covered up most of the basic features of C++. So we are just moving forward ourselves to some of the user defined functions because we have some functions which we can use which are predefined in C++ like get, ch, etc, etc. But I don't want that. Actually, I just want to create, we just want to create some of the functions which are defined by us, which are created by us. So I will just teach you in this lesson basically some of the user defined functions, how to create a user defined functions. So let's start opening one of our favorite IDE, that is Turbo C++. So let's open a new file, and here we have learned about structures in the last lesson, uh, or in the previous tutorials. Structures are basically a group of data members, like we can declare 2 or 3 data types or data variables in that, and we can just use it accordingly. Like if I just create a structure name L tutorials, and I just give it like integer a and character b, which has a size of 50, that is a character array, and just I close it down. This is basically a user defined data type. Structures are used to create a user defined data types, but now we just want to create a user defined functions. User defined functions and user defined data types basically differentiates each other as a user defined function. It just include user defined data types plus user defined functions. This is basically what a user defined functions is, or we can just skip it to functions. Basically now I'm just starting with classes because it is one of the most important feature of C++ and rather a object oriented programming feature. C++ is an object oriented programming language, so classes is one of the most important object oriented programming feature. So I just start with that, but first of all let me make it a comment, multi-line comment. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. This one, and here this one. So it's a multi-line comment. Now if I tell you something about classes is basically nothing. Classes is just a structure which also includes functions. Structure only include the data types like integer, character, variables, etc, etc, but a function basically includes, I mean a classes basically includes a structure features and a function features. It means a structure and a class differentiates by having or occupying a function or not. If any of the class is not occupying a function, it cannot be a structure. It means classes cannot be structure, but structure can be classes. You got it, I guess. So now let's start with classes. First of all, I just give you a demo class, like okay, I have to put caps off, hash include istring dot h, and I would like to include conio also because I'll be using clear screen and get ch here. So let's okay, let's give our skeleton program first. Here clear screen, and it's a predefined function, and get ch, and let me close this. Now I told you everything about bottom up and top down approach. So here also we will follow top down approach, because in structure also I followed a top down approach. It's a very effective approach, that's why I'm following it. So now start, we have to give it this is a predefined name. Like for structures we use struct, struct. So for classes, in order to create a class, we just have to give it a name, class. And if I give a name, class student, now this is a class student is basically, now this class has a name known as student. You have to give a keyword like class, and after that you have to give a name of class, and later on you have to provide some of the basic features to it, like integer a, and I'll just give okay, it's a student, so here give it a roll number, and let's take his name, student's name. It must be a character array of 50 or more size, and anything else, no, we just fine with this. So and one more thing, I'll tell you about what is public, private, etc, etc. I'll tell you all these things, but first of all let me declare. Now I just define two of the functions, like I have to take the input and provide the output. So I just define a function here, void input, and close it, and void output, and close it. That's fine with us. Now if I close this, and now our class is complete. Okay, so that's all for class. We have done with declaring a class. Now a question comes in mind, what is this public? Why I defined it here, or why I just written it here? Actually, this public is a user specifier, or basically access specifier. What is this access specifier means? Basically, class is one of the most secured feature of an object oriented programming. Why this is? Now let's assume we are a principal of school, and or basically a principal of one of the famous school just given us a project in order to create a program or software, so that we can input the roll number and name of student and provide his roll number and name. So but I don't want any outsider to change the roll number or name of any of the student. So here I just provide one of the more access specifier, that is private. That's all done. Now private we have three of the basic specifiers: private, public, and third one is protected, this one. So what is private, what is public, and what is protected? Basically private is access specifier in which we are only allowed to access any of the privately declared variable or functions inside the class only. It means if we want to use role and name, we can just use it in this particular scope, that is within the class student. But as you can check out here, the input and output functions are declared publicly. So public access specifier basically allows you to access this input and output outside the class also. So this is what public and private means. Now the third question put in our mind is, what is protected? I'm just skipping this protected function access specifier here, because we'll learn more about protected, because we keep on practicing for public and private, and as soon as we start with inheritance, that is maybe in our next video. So I'll tell you what is basic feature of a productive function, and what are basically everything about productive functions. So now let's continue with our public and protected access specifiers. So now let's continue with the code. So here I have just declared a function that is void input. I just want to declare it like cout. I just do whatever I do in main, I just do it in a class, because our basic motto is to minimize the size of main, so our accessing and runtime time will be minimum. So enter the roll number, and I just provide here an endl function and cin roll, because it's just a number or integer. So here I just provide a message cout enter name of student, and again I provide an endl statement, and I take here it via getS name. That's all. So I just close the input function, and now it's done for output function. I just declare output function okay, cout name first of all roll number is okay, I just provide this and it's roll. Okay, so again here name of student is, I just want to put print it using putS function, because it may be containing any space. So here name, and I just close it down, and that's all. That's done for it. So that's fine with us. Now let's come to our main function. We have just created a class named as student, and we declare here, actually one more thing I just want to tell you. Private is a user specifier which is by default. I mean, if you do not declare or define anything here, then by default it will be a private data type or private member functions. These are basically data members, and these are basically member functions. So that these are their names, data members and member functions. So here we have just created a class named as student, and we have to create an object for that. So student space, let's say s, and let it close it down. Now if I just want to use any of the member function or any of the data members, I just use it as I previously used in structures, like s dot input. This is the function I just created in a student class, for which an object named as s is created. Object named as for class student. Maybe this is somewhat critical, but hope so you'll get it. So again I just print output same, and get ch is already here. So let's compile this code. First of all, 2 errors. Now let's search what are those 2 errors. Basically getS and putS. So we have to just include one more header file, that is include stdio.h, and let's compile it again. 0 errors, 0 warnings. So it's successfully compiled. Now let's run this code. If I run this, enter roll number, I just enter roll number 1, and name of student is okay, L tutorials. Roll number is 1, name of student is L tutorials. That's fine with us. So we can just provide an endl function here, so that the output will be better. That's fine, otherwise it's absolutely fine. Now you can check out here. I just declared a class named as student, and I provided it some information like integer type, roll number, character type, name, and some of the functions like void input function and output function. And I didn't return anything from both of the functions because I just created them as void. So, and you can also check out here, for input and output functions I just declared it within the class. That's why this is known as an inline function. Sorry, let me add a comment here. Inline function declaration. This is an inline function declaration. If I run this code, roll number 1 and name of student is Vaibhav Mishra, you can check out I got the output. But what maybe this class is looking somewhat differentiable or somewhat critical. I just let me full screen this. Now one more thing, see here, I just created an object S for this student, and I just called a function, or the function using object S for class student for input function. As you can check out, input function is basically a public function here. That's why I'm able to use it or access it. But what if I try to access a roll number or name that are basically private functions? What if I do? Let's try see out. Okay, let's give it here. Just a minute. Now it's fine. So after output I just try to print s dot name. Is it correct? Or else roll. I'm here trying to print one of the function one of the data member that is present in a class student, for which an object is defined as s. So it is correct. I'm using s dot roll. So I'm as same as in the structures. So I'm just trying to access a private member. So let's compile this code. Error. What is this error? Student role is not accessible. Why? Because role is a private data member of class student. That's why we are not allowed to access role. This is what the security of C++ classes are. That's why C++ classes are one of the most important and best feature of object-oriented programming. So I just here the class student is basically, you can check out, this much lengthy. If I'm not interested in a lengthy class, I just want to shorten this code. We have one of the method. So I'm deleting this thing like this, and okay, let me cut it. This will be more easier. Let me cut it, and I just provide a semicolon here in order to and this input function. And after this class I just provide void input, same function which is declared in the class, and I just paste it here. Okay, so just a minute. That's fine with us. I have to delete this, and let's make it closer, and more closer, and here. That's fine with us. Now I just declared the input function outside the class. Let's try, will it access or not? And now same with this code. I just cut this code, and here void output, and I just paste it here. Okay, shorten, shorten, and shorten, and this one. Okay, so I just declared or defined the input and output function outside the class student. Will it work? Let's try. 4 errors. Let's run. What is this? Undefined symbol role, undefined symbol name, role name. Actually, this role and name is undefined symbol because it is defined in the class student. For what? For a private data member. These two are private data members. That means they are only accessible within the class student. So we have to provide one of the operator here, like we are just improving, or we have a very important and powerful operator, that is this is basically a scope resolution operator. We will use this in later videos also, later tutorials also, but for classes it is one of the most important operator. So we just have to do what? We have to just give the class name here, void student scope resolution operator input. Now let's compile this. Errors are decreased to 2. That's also for output function. Now the problem with input function is okay. Now what is this statement means? Void is the type of input function, and this statement basically tells this the C++ compiler that input function is a part of a class that is known as student, and scope resolution operator is the basically the unique directive which directs this function to directly to this class student and give it the access to the student class. And in order to access student class, public variables are accessible all over the function, but private variables are only accessible within the function. That's why in order to use role and name, we have to provide this scope resolution operator to our code. So it's all done. Now we have to just provide here same student and scope resolution operator output. Now let's compile. It's 0 error, and if I run this code, roll number is 1, name is Al Tutorials. It's all done. You can check out. It's fun using classes, it's awesome using classes. You can just create more and more awesome classes, awesome variables, awesome functions. You can just minimize your work using classes. So work hard on classes. That's all for this tutorials, and in the next video I'll be there with some of the basic and some of the awesome features of classes, so that you can master classes and have a great command on object oriented programming language. And in the next from next to next tutorial, we'll start learning about inheritance and the object oriented features. So that's all for this class. Thank you for watching the video, and also like, comment and subscribe, and also provide me some of the suggestions in order to improve my videos, the content of my videos. And if any questions you are having, please give it in a comment box so that I can answer you and solve your query. Thanks a lot. Thank you for watching. Take care.